Happy New Year, Year of the Horse. Wish everybody well and prosperity for the rest of the Year of the Horse. Today I'd like to talk about an exercise I used to do in the Wing Chun class. It's about how to throw a punch. It's really hard to reprogram yourself into throwing a punch. People still tense up a lot, and when you tense up you seem to throw a slower punch, and it seems to be less sensitive when you're in a fight, when you're tense. And when you're tense, it's not as powerful as if you were relaxed. And time again, people say to relax when you fight, and that's really hard. It goes against natural thinking. When you throw a punch, you need to stiffen up. One of the ways that we try to train is try to hit newspaper. In trying to throw a punch by hitting a piece of newspaper, if you manage to rip the newspaper by throwing a punch, then you're doing it correctly. Because most people just tense up too much. You kind of have to think that when you throw a punch, or a gansao or whatever paksao, that you have to imagine that your arms are like whips. They're like whips that you're just whipping your arms out without power, without stiffening, especially the hand and the fist, without stiffening. The best way to do it is not to clench your fist and not to make a chopping motion or gesture, but have something in between, something that is slightly closed, but not completely closed and not completely open. And that's how you should be throwing your punches. And only if you make contact do you make the fist and close your fist. If you don't make contact, just when you're doing punches or anything, don't make the fist, because you're not hitting anything. If you're not hitting anything, why make a fist? When you make a fist, it means you're stiffening up your arm and you're releasing all the energy that you have. And you only want to do that when you're hitting somebody. If you make contact, then you hold your fist. It's like a gun with a bullet. Don't shoot up in the air when you're not hitting anything. Make sure that your gun is aimed towards a target, and then if it's aimed towards a target, you can pull the trigger. Versus if you had held the fist already, that means you pulled the trigger already. So one way to practice this is we hit newspaper, and I'll show you how it's done. Here it is. It's a piece of newspaper. I put two pieces of tape, and then I'm just going to tape it on my dummy arm. Now once this is taped on my dummy's arm, and see if I can get a better shot. I put my fist right in front here. I have to relax my forearm. Put my fist here with a little arm like this. Relax the fingers, and then punch. Same thing with the other hand, like this, and punch. It's really, really hard to do. Okay, I finally did it. As you can see, there's this little hole here. And it's ripped in a way, that kind of fits my fist when I hit it. So if you practice this with a whole stack of newspaper and you manage to rip every single one, then you would kind of understand the idea of throwing a relaxed punch, relaxed arm, relaxed forearm, and only at the point of contact do you then make your fist and then transfer that energy to your opponent. Only at the final contact stage. You cannot do this and rip the newspaper if you had a stiff fist. And if you had a stiff fist and you held your fist already, it's quite impossible to make a rip in the newspaper. And you might rip the newspaper, but not in this way, not in a way that it fits completely the fist of your punch. Kind of fits right in here. It's usually this that's hitting, and it's not really. If you're punching, you're supposed to be Wing Chun will be the last three knuckles that actually do the most damage. But it's not my fingertips that rips the newspaper. That's not a trick that I do. It's actually by snapping the way I snap my fist from an open hand into a closed fist, and it's that snapping motion that rips the newspaper. It usually is this knuckle that rips the newspaper. And that's not how you fight, and this is not how you punch, but this is a way you can practice in practicing how to clinch the fist at the end of contact to really maximize the speed, the sensitivity, and then transferring your power into your opponent at the end so that you become a quicker, a more responsive fighter. So try this at home and see if you can have a lot of fun ripping newspaper with your punches. Once again, a Happy New Year.